Hi. During this third week of Lent, I was asked to consider what the world would be like if if all were fed, and to try and think of that, what kind of images that brings to mind, and then to take those images and try to sketch them out. So I did that. I thought about it. It took me a little while. I'm not much of an artist, but I'll show you my beautiful drawing here in a minute. Some of the readings that I saw, that I read, to help clear my mind and help me think about, to visualize what that would be like, came out of some other readings that I had this week that were provided to me. During this season of Lent, we've been reflecting on what it means to be in the wilderness, journeying toward the promise God has in store. Jesus challenges us to consider our own vulnerability and responsibility as we make our way in the world. He reminds us that tragedy and trauma don't wait for morally upright people to get out of harm's way. We are all vulnerable as we traverse a wilderness fraught with injustice, violence, hunger, and poverty. The superiority we may feel over others is neither true nor significant. Jesus reminds us that we've all sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. We might say the same about hunger and poverty. No amount of hard work can ultimately overcome an unjust system. Hunger is not the result of personal or moral failings, but a risk we all take in a world still yearning for God to fulfill the promise that all will be fed. Sometimes some of that was a little bit tough for me to connect the dots, and make it, I guess, be able to try to illustrate it or make it make sense for me. As I started doing my sketch, it kind of came, more was coming to me, I guess, as I was doing it. And maybe being in Arizona, that helps with what I ended up sketching. So I'll show you what I came up with. Being in the wilderness and having to be in the desert, I, of course, had my sketch come up with a desert theme. And then having that we're, of course, that all are fed, no matter where we go and what we end up encountering in the middle of nowhere. If any of you have been on some trails and been out adventuring through the desert, and you feel like you get that moment where you feel like there's no one else around you, you're the only person, you're the only living anything for miles around, it can sometimes be kind of an eerie feeling and think, all I have is this bottle of water and my little energy bar or whatever, and you think that you're out there by yourself. So it's kind of where I was going. But anyways, my sketch here, hopefully this shows up okay, is the desert. So I have my little desert scene, my little trail that was coming in, and being out in the middle of nowhere and not knowing what was going on or where I was, to find a table full of food that will all be fed. So hopefully that is, I don't know, it kind of made me think about things like that a little bit. I guess I would also encourage you to maybe take some of that try doing the same thing and see what you come up with. Maybe sit down with your family and ask them and tell them, just to think about a world where everyone is fed. And if it leads to conversation, great. If you can try to sketch up what you think a world where everyone is fed looks like, it'd be interesting to see what people come up with. So thank you, and have a great week.